Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a Salafi jihadist group that has evolved from its 9/11 base in Afghanistan and Pakistan into a dispersed network of global affiliates and supporters. Although Al-Qaeda's central leadership has been weakened and most original leaders eliminated, the group still likely seeks to attack the United States and its interests abroad, even as counterterrorism efforts, international cooperation, and improved security measures have reduced its capability. Al-Qaeda's 5 main affiliates include Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, AQAP, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, AKIM, and its Sahel offshoot, Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, JNIM, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent, AQIS, and Huras al-Din, HAD. These groups operate in the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. Al-Qaeda in Iraq became ISIS in 2013, and ties were severed in 2014. Syria's Nusra Front broke from Al-Qaeda and became part of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham in 2017. These affiliates and their attacks are detailed separately. Al-Qaeda's operational activity is driven primarily by its affiliates. AKP is based in Yemen, AKM in Algeria, Libya, and Mali, JNIM in Mali, Al-Shabaab in Somalia, AQIS in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and HAD in Syria. Some senior figures and operatives also reside in Iran, and the group retains a presence in Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda exploits unstable regions, conflicts, and local grievances to recruit fighters and gather resources. Its affiliates remain intent on striking the US and its interests abroad, though their capabilities and access vary. Tactics include conventional assaults, IEDs, suicide bombings, and kidnappings. Al-Qaeda also encourages global supporters to carry out attacks using easily available weapons. The US State Department designated Al-Qaeda as a foreign terrorist organization in October 1999. Numerous leaders have been named specially designated global terrorists, including former Amir Ayman al-Zawahiri and Iran-based figure Saif al-Adl in September 2001, and Iran-based Abd al-Rahman al-Maghrebi in January 2021. HAMAS, a short for Harakat al-Muqawama al-Islamiyya, which means Islamic Resistance Movement, is the biggest and strongest militant group in the Palestinian territories and also one of the 2 main political parties there. Hamas supports fighting Israel through violence and wants to create a Palestinian state. Over the years, it has been involved in many violent clashes with Israel. The latest and most serious one started on October 7, 2023, when Hamas carried out a large surprise attack on Israel, killing nearly 1,200 people. Hamas was formed in 1987 during the first Palestinian uprising, known as the Intifada, as a branch of the Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine. Since 2007, Hamas has controlled the Gaza Strip after removing the Palestinian Authority from power. In 2017, Hamas changed its official charter to no longer openly call for the destruction of Israel. However, the group still does not accept Israel as a legitimate state and continues to support all types of resistance against it. Mainly based in the Gaza Strip, Hamas also has a presence in the West Bank, Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon, and other places in the region, including Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey. Hamas likely has fewer than 20,000 fighters now. Before the conflict with Israel began in October 2023, the group had an estimated 20,000 to 25,000 fighters, but that number has dropped by several thousand due to the fighting. Hamas carries out attacks using homemade bombs, short and long-range rockets, mortars, rifles, rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, portable air defense missiles, man-pads, anti-tank missiles, and drones. It also operates a large network of tunnels inside Gaza to help launch attacks on Israeli soldiers and civilians. In addition to physical attacks, Hamas is involved in cyber spying, hacking, and kidnapping. The group often uses hostages to pressure the Israeli government into making deals, such as releasing important Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. The US State Department officially labeled Hamas as a foreign terrorist organization in October 1997. Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab is a Sunni Islamic terrorist group that officially pledged loyalty to Al-Qaeda in 2012. Its main goals are to overthrow the Somali federal government, remove foreign troops from Somalia, and create a strict Islamic state. Since 2014, Al-Shabaab has been responsible for more American deaths than any other Al-Qaeda branch, and by 2022, it had become the wealthiest part of the network. Al-Shabaab started as the armed wing of the Islamic Courts Union (ICU), which briefly took control of parts of central and southern Somalia in 2006. When UN-backed Ethiopian forces removed the ICU from power in December 2006, Al-Shabaab stayed active and used the foreign military presence to rally support for its fight. The group is also known for spreading its message through various media, including radio, websites, and social media, to reach both local and international audiences. Al-Shabaab attacks US and other foreign troops, Somali government and security forces, and civilian places like hotels, malls, universities, and busy streets. The group has carried out deadly attacks in Kenya, Somalia, and Uganda, but has never struck outside East Africa. Its complex attacks usually start with a bomb, either a planted explosive (IED) or a car bomb (VBIED), followed by gunfire. Al-Shabaab also carries out ambushes, military-style raids, kidnappings, and assassinations. The US State Department designated Al-Shabaab as a foreign terrorist organization in March 2008. Many of its top leaders and officials, such as bomb-making experts, attack planners, and leaders of cells based in Kenya, have been labeled as specially designated global terrorists. Taliban. The Taliban is a Sunni Islamist nationalist and pro-Pashtun movement that began in the early 1990s. It ruled most of Afghanistan from 1996 until October 2001. The word Taliban means students in Pashto, and the group was originally made up of peasant farmers and Islamic religious school students from Afghanistan and Pakistan. The Taliban gained support and built its power base in southern Afghanistan. In the years leading up to the September 11, 2001 attacks in the United States, the Taliban provided a safe haven for Al-Qaeda, allowing the group to freely recruit, train with, and deploy terrorists to other countries. The Taliban remained in control of Afghanistan until October 2001, when they were overthrown by the US-led campaign against Al-Qaeda. In a significant development for the Afghanistan-Pakistan region, the Taliban revealed in July 2015 that their leader, Mullah Mohammed Omar, had actually died in 2013. Omar, who was the president of Afghanistan during the Taliban's rule and a strong supporter of bin Laden, had been wanted by the US government through its Rewards for Justice program. Following his death, Mullah Akhtar Mohammed Mansour, who had been Omar's second in command, was chosen as the new Taliban leader in August 2015. Mansour became only the second leader of the Taliban. The Afghan Taliban are responsible for most of the insurgent attacks in Afghanistan, which generally follow a regular pattern of low-level ambushes and hit-and-run tactics, alongside occasional high-profile attacks. The group has been making aggressive advances across the country, demonstrated by a 78% increase in suicide and complex attacks nationwide in the first half of 2015, compared to the same period in 2014. Between August 7 and 10, 2015, the Taliban launched a series of attacks in Kabul, resulting in at least 60 deaths, making it the deadliest stretch in the capital since the US-led invasion in 2001. The first attack involved a suicide bomber detonating a large truck bomb in a residential area, aiming at an Afghan Defense Ministry building. This blast killed 15 civilians and wounded up to 400 people. The explosion alone caused an unprecedented number of casualties in recent years. The Taliban is widely suspected of being behind the attack, though they did not claim responsibility due to the massive civilian toll. Less than 24 hours later, a suicide bomber, disguised as a police officer, killed over 40 cadets and civilians at the entrance to the Kabul Police Academy. Later that day, a Taliban squad attacked the Resolute Support Mission's Camp Integrity, killing at least 9, including one NATO serviceman. On August 10th, a Taliban suicide bomber rammed a car into a checkpoint near Kabul International Airport, killing at least 5 and wounding 15 others. ISIS. It stands for Islamic State and is a Salafi jihadist group responsible for numerous terrorist attacks worldwide, causing thousands of deaths and injuries. In 2004, an extremist group led by Abu Musab al-Zarqawi merged with Al-Qaeda, forming ISIS's predecessor, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, i.e. Zarqawi led the group until his death in 2006. In 2010, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi took control and expanded operations into eastern Syria. In 2013, AQI rebranded as ISIS, and in 2014, the group separated from Al-Qaeda, declared itself a caliphate, and seized large territories in Iraq and Syria. In 2019, a global coalition pushed ISIS out of its last stronghold in Syria, but the group continues to operate covertly in both Syria and Iraq. Despite losing much of its leadership and territorial control, ISIS remains capable of conducting insurgent activities and oversees at least 19 branches and networks across Africa, Asia, and Europe. Some of these branches are described in separate entries on this platform. ISIS operates primarily in northern and eastern Syria and northern Iraq, with an estimated 8,000 to 16,000 members in Iraq and Syria. The group employs tactics such as targeted killings, IED attacks, ambushes, military-style assaults, kidnappings, and suicide attacks. They often target military forces, civilian defense units, government personnel, infrastructure, and foreign aid workers, as well as civilians perceived to be opposed to their ideology or interpretation of Islamic law. Additionally, ISIS encourages followers worldwide to carry out attacks using readily available weapons. The US State Department designated AQI, ISIS's predecessor, as a foreign terrorist organization in December 2004, and this designation continues to apply to ISIS. Several ISIS leaders, including former leaders Haji Abdullah 2020, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi 2011, and Abu Musab al-Zarqawi 2003, have been named specially designated global terrorists. Hezbollah, Lebanese Hizballah, is a political, military, and terrorist organization capable of conducting attacks against Israeli and US interests globally. The group is dedicated to resisting Israeli influence and expelling US forces from the Middle East. Its Islamic Jihad organization, IJO, also known as the External Security Organization or Unit 910, carries out overseas terrorist operations, including attacks on US targets. From October 2023 to November 2024, Hizballah launched near-daily attacks on Israel in support of Hamas. Israeli airstrikes in September and October 2024 killed several top Hizballah leaders, including Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah, who had led the group since 1992, and his successor, Hashim Safi al-Din. In October 2024, Israel launched ground operations against Hizballah in southern Lebanon. A ceasefire was reached in November 2024, which largely halted hostilities. Hizballah operates throughout Lebanon, especially in the Bekaa Valley, southern Beirut, and southern Lebanon. It also supports Iran-aligned militants in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen, and has conducted global attacks. With approximately 40,000 fighters, Hizballah possesses state-like military capabilities, including air defense systems, anti-ship, anti-tank, and precision-guided missiles, rockets, and unmanned aircraft systems. These assets were weakened during the 2023-2024 conflict with Israel. The fall of the Assad regime in 2024 likely reduced Iran's ability to resupply Hizballah via Syria. The group remains proficient in both asymmetric and conventional warfare, using ambushes, assassinations, bombings, indirect fire attacks, and kidnappings. Its IGO caches explosives and maintains covert infrastructure worldwide for operations. The US State Department designated Hizballah as a foreign terrorist organization in October 1997. Over 60 other countries and organizations, including the EU, Arab League, and Gulf Cooperation Council, have also designated Hizballah, either wholly or in part, as a terrorist group. Boko Haram. Boko Haram is a Salafi Islamist militant group that seeks to eliminate Western influence and establish an Islamic state governed by its interpretation of Sharia law. Since its founding in 2002, the group has been responsible for the deaths of an estimated 50,000 people and has displaced over 2.5 million. Though it was previously linked to Al-Qaeda and later ISIS, Boko Haram is not currently affiliated with either organization. In mid-2021, the group's longtime leader Abu Bakr Shekau killed himself during a confrontation with rival militants from ISIS West Africa. Following his death, Boko Haram suffered major setbacks, losing fighters and territory in Nigeria, as many members either defected to ISIS West Africa or surrendered to local authorities. Boko Haram is primarily active in northeastern Nigeria and southeastern Niger, and it also operates in parts of Cameroon and Chad. As of late 2022, Boko Haram's active membership was estimated to be around 1,000. The group commonly employs small arms to target civilians and regional security forces. It engages in kidnappings to secure ransom payments and access to medical aid. Boko Haram has also used kidnapped individuals, including women and children, as suicide bombers. The US State Department designated Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist organization in November 2013. Lashkar-e-Taiba. Lashkar-e-Taiba LT is the militant arm of the Pakistan-based Sunni organization Markaz-ud-Dawa wal-Irshad MDI, established in 1989. The group, led by Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, is one of the most well-trained and active terrorist organizations fighting Indian forces in Kashmir. Although not affiliated with a political party, LT operates under the umbrella of Jamaat-ud-Dawa, JOD, a related organization that has also come under international scrutiny. Since 1993, LT has carried out numerous deadly attacks against Indian military and civilian targets in Jammu and Kashmir. In 2001 alone, the group claimed responsibility for multiple high-profile attacks, including on Srinagar airport, police stations, and border security forces. Indian authorities have implicated LT in the 13th December 2001 Indian Parliament attack, as well as the May 2002 Kaluchak army base assault. The group has also been linked to Al-Qaeda through the capture of senior Al-Qaeda leader Abu Zubaydah at an LT safe house in 2002. LT consists of several thousand fighters, mostly Pakistanis trained in madrasas and veterans of the Afghan wars. The group uses a wide array of weapons, including assault rifles, machine guns, mortars, and rocket-propelled grenades. LT is headquartered in Muridka near Lahore, with additional presence in Muzaffarabad and throughout Azad Kashmir, southern Jammu and Kashmir, the Doda region, and the Kashmir Valley. The group raises funds from Pakistani communities in the Gulf and UK, Islamic NGOs, and Kashmiri business people. It also operates a website through its affiliated organization Jamaat-ud-Dawa to solicit funds. LT has invested in legitimate businesses to shield its finances, anticipating asset freezes by the Pakistani government. The United States designated LT as a foreign terrorist organization in October 2001. Pakistan banned the group and froze its assets in January 2002. Jamaat-ud-Dawa was placed on a watch list by the Pakistani government in November 2003. Jeish-e-Mohammed, Jeish-e-Mohammed, JEM, which means Army of Muhammad, is a Sunni extremist group based in Pakistan. The group wants to make Kashmir part of Pakistan and remove Indian control from the area. JEM was started in 2000 by members who left another Pakistan-based group called Harakat-ul-Mujahideen, HAM. It carries out attacks in India and the part of Kashmir controlled by India. After a deadly JEM attack in Pulwama in 2019, tensions grew between India and Pakistan. Since then, Pakistan's government has tried to push JEM to scale back and mix into normal society, but the group still carries out attacks. JEM also fought alongside the Taliban against US and allied forces in Afghanistan from 2001 to 2021. JEM uses suicide attacks, car bombs, guns, explosives, and rocket launchers. It mainly targets Indian soldiers, military bases, camps, vehicles, and government buildings. The US State Department listed JEM as a foreign terrorist organization in December 2001. The Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia People's Army. This is one of the most dangerous armed rebel groups in Colombia today. Many of its members refused to accept the peace deal signed in 2016 between the Colombian government and the original FARC group, which had been attacking the country since 1964. FARC-EP's goal is to take control of important parts of Colombia, especially areas tied to drug trafficking. Since 2019, it has carried out most of the attacks linked to FARC rebels. The group has fought with Colombian forces and also clashed with a rival rebel group called Segunda Marquetalia. Around 2,000 fighters, they mostly operate in southern and northeastern Colombia. Some fighters are based in Venezuela. FARC-EP uses armed raids, killings, kidnappings, and extortion. It mainly targets the Colombian government and military, but also attacks important buildings, civilians, and sometimes US military forces. Members use guns, machine guns, landmines, and homemade bombs. The US State Department labeled FARC-EP a foreign terrorist organization in November 2021. That same month, it also identified key leaders as global terrorists,